Good evening and welcome to Whatever It Takes, a tribute to Judy Woodruff. Tonight's event supports one of the most special places in the world, except for maybe Disney World. It's Kennedy Krieger Institute. My name is Ellie McGinn. I am 10 years old and I have leukoencephalopathy with brainstem and spinal cord involvement and lactate elevation. Don't worry, I won't make you repeat that. Thanks to Kennedy Krieger Institute, I'm getting stronger every day, but there is much more that can be learned and discovered about my disease, and it's why nights like this really matter. But I want to start tonight by introducing you to someone very special to me, my doctor, Dr. Fatemi.
Thank you, Ellie. That was a very nice introduction, as always. You're an eloquent speaker. I wish I could speak as good as you. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ali Fatemi. I guess Dr. Ali Fatemi. I don't really like the doctor part much. I'm a pediatric neurologist and the director of our neurogenetics program at the Kennedy Krieger Institute. And it's an honor for me to be here today and to have the pleasure to introduce the people who will start. We're here tonight to honor a longtime friend and member of the board of directors at the Kennedy Krieger Institute, Ms. Judy Woodruff. And we would also like to share with you some of the quite amazing work that is happening at the Kennedy Krieger Institute. We are one of the leading sites for doing a very important work, which is children's brain research. And we are very uniquely situated in the fact that we have a clinical program, but also a very strong research program and a very strong educational program that's not just for professionals, but also for individuals with special needs. And some of those programs are right here in this region, in the suburbs of the Washington, D.C. area. And so because of the ability that we can combine these three together, we have a unique advantage that we can apply this research in real time to make sure that every child who's seen at Kennedy Krieger gets not only the best possible care, but also has the best potential to live a full life. So Ellie and I are really delighted tonight to tell you all about this or introduce the people who will tell you about this. So we will first start with inviting our first guest, Ms. Sharon Rockefeller, who's president and CEO of WETA. It's really an honor to meet you, especially having kids who watch PBS every day, PBS Kids every day. And she's also tonight's honorary chair. Please come to the stage. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends. I'm delighted to be here with you as we celebrate the remarkable work of Kennedy Krieger Institute and honor the incomparable Judy Woodruff. Such an important and ambitious celebration and initiative requires the commitment and generosity of many, and thank you for being here tonight. We're all grateful to our gold sponsor, Care First, and also our silver sponsors, Earl Abramson and Sheila Schlagen. Thank you for making the evening possible. I also salute the Kennedy Krieger Board of Directors who have so faithfully guided this essential institution. I've done some service nearby on the Johns Hopkins Medicine Board for the last 14 years, so we're neighbors and friends. Many of us in the region have long been familiar with Kennedy Krieger by reputation, even if we haven't needed you directly. For those of us with friends and loved ones who faced some of life's hardest challenges, we know that Kennedy Krieger is a unique place. We bring together the latest scientific advancements for treating pediatric brain and nervous system disorders, injuries, and diseases with compassionate and interdisciplinary care for patients and their families. In addition, Kennedy Krieger schools are there for children with special needs, and that those schools bring the brain science to the realm of their educations. During tonight's programs, we'll learn a lot about Kennedy Krieger's innovations in pediatric brain treatment and research, and the lives that are being changed as a result. We are also here to honor one of our nation's finest journalists and a Kennedy Krieger grateful parent, Judy Woodruff. I've known Judy and Al. Al's the parent too, for, close to 40 years, as well as Jeffrey and their other children. I count Judy as one of my dearest friends. I'm also fortunate that we've been workmates together in the same building or in the separate buildings for the last, since 1983 by my count. And we're still going strong. Andrea too. One of my proudest accomplishments as president of WETA was the sort of seamless melding of taking the NewsHour into WETA as part of our station, where you already had been part of our station. But when Jim and Robin retired, I really think it was about as smooth as those transitions get, like there were no ripples whatsoever. And obviously I've been an ardent fan and viewer of the NewsHour, the predecessor programs, for well over 40 years. In fact, I started my career with public broadcasting by watching the Watergate hearings in West Virginia and watching Jim and Robin before I was on the WETA board in 1973. But it just sort of evolved into public service that I love and doing something that I felt I knew was needed in West Virginia as well as the rest of the country. So as anchor of our nightly broadcast, Judy brings her exceptional experience, her knowledge, her grace under pressure. I don't know how she does what she does every single day, and her dedication to upholding the highest journalism standards. She does the same as she advocates for Kennedy Krieger and for all of you, the families, children, and youth who benefit from the research, care, and education pioneered there. So thank you for everything you do, Judy. Many thanks. Tonight, we celebrate little movements that can lead to big breakthroughs. So on each table, you'll see donation cards, and you'll also find pinwheels. Let me explain. If at any moment you feel moved tonight, and I want you to feel moved, to simply raise one of these pinwheels, and a member of the Kennedy Krieger staff will be happy to take your donation right here on the spot. Or you can fill out the donation form and hand it to the Kennedy Krieger staff on the way out. Whichever method you choose, we hope you'll take one of those pinwheels home anyway with you to remember the collective power of our efforts. We are so grateful for your presence. I hope you will enable Kennedy Krieger to be here many, many years in the future. And now I have the pleasure of introducing the presenting partners of Whatever It Takes, Bob and Janet Sloan. Bob and Janet are also part of the WETA family. Bob serves on our board of trustees and chairs our audit committee. I salute to him. I've been tremendously inspired by the love and determination that the Sloans have given in creating Joey's Foundation. So please join me in welcoming Bob and Janet Sloan to the stage. And thank you again.
Thank you, Sharon, and thank you, Kennedy Krieger Institute, for including us in this very special and important night. It has been my privilege to serve on the Board of Trustees of WETA Public Television for the past 6 years. In this capacity, I have observed Sharon's total commitment, passion, and executive ability as President and Chief Executive Officer of WETA, I can tell you that there is no one who has served the public broadcasting community more successfully than Sharon. She is a remarkable executive. We have with us tonight Tim Coughlin, Chairman of the Board of WETA, his wife Laurie, members of the WETA Board, Kathy Connolly, and members of the WETA staff who supported tonight's tribute. So let's give Sharon and WETA a round of applause. As a point of personal privilege, I would also like to thank all of our sponsors for tonight's tribute dinner, especially Care First, Earl Abramson and Sheila Shagler. I would also like to recognize our close friends, Barbie Albritton, Robert and Elena Albritton, and thank Politico for their support. Also Calvin and Jane Kafritz and the Morris and Gwendolyn Kafritz Foundation. Finally, one of my best friends in high school, Jeff Lau from Newcastle, Indiana, and his wife Cammie sponsored a table and flew out from Michigan to be with us this evening. Thank you, Jeff. And now our story. 3 years ago this week, Janet, me, our 3 children, and 8 grandchildren were just like most of you, busy, happy, healthy, and grateful for a wonderful life. Little did we know or expect that our family would be changed in a matter of minutes as the result of a medical accident involving our youngest grandchild, Joseph Robert Shaw. Joey was 18 months old. He liked books, balloons, and splashing in the bathtub. Unexpectedly, tragically, while a patient in a major medical center for dehydration, Joey vomited, aspirated, lost his airway, and went into full cardiac arrest. CPR was administered for 42 minutes. Joey was placed on a heart-lung machine with a dire prognosis. He was not expected to live. The family stayed by Joey's side for the next several days, holding his hand and praying for a miracle. Thanks to the grace of God and the physicians and nurses in the cardiac intensive care unit, Joey survived. While Joey survived, he suffered severe brain damage due to a loss of oxygen. He spent weeks in the cardiac intensive care unit, was transferred to Johns Hopkins Hospital, and then to the Kennedy Krieger Institute, where he received extensive therapy and a diagnosis of cerebral palsy. We were overjoyed when Joey came home, although we had no idea how difficult it would be. The equipment, the supplies, the therapy, the fear, the worry, the loss of sleep, the constant stress, the goal of just making it through the day for our daughter Susan and our son-in-law Chris. The theme of tonight's tribute dinner, whatever it takes, rings true to us, because that's exactly what you do when you're faced with a situation like this. You do whatever it takes. The family provides support, Susan's sister and brother, Chris's family, all of us together, doing whatever it takes. Thankfully, I can tell you that Joey's cognitive ability is intact. He is smart, alert, and learning. His injury impacts his motor skills, so he cannot yet eat by mouth, talk, or crawl. However, he communicates using an assistive device on a computer, which speaks for him. Joey is 4 years old and is putting together words in short sentences. He still likes books, balloons, and splashing in the bathtub. You will meet Joey later this evening. Over time, first weeks, then months, a transition began to occur. Joey became a blessing to all of us. He has given us a deeper appreciation of things that we take for granted: just the ability to eat, to talk, to walk. We began to understand the meaning of unconditional love through this child. Empathy for others, understanding of life's challenges, patience, gratitude for modest improvements, the joy of laughing with Joey, appreciation for the prayers of friends, expressions of support, the realization that we are not in this alone, but others care and want to help. So we are evolving from the shock and the sadness of what happened to a realization that there are things we can do, not only to help Joey, but to help other children who suffer from brain injury. In a conversation with Gary Goldstein, former president and CEO of Kennedy Krieger Institute, he suggested that we take our experience and work to improve equipment and therapies for children suffering from brain injury. And that led to the creation of Joey's Foundation. It was really Janet's idea, and she is here to talk about what the foundation is doing.
Together, Bob and I have the privilege of spending at least 20 hours a week with Joey. Because of this time we spend with him, we have experienced firsthand the difficulties and obstacles he deals with on a daily basis. Seeing this firsthand has been really difficult for us as grandparents, and of course our inclination is to figure out something, somehow, to help him get through the activities of daily living. As we began exploring ways to help Joey, the idea of creating a foundation evolved, Joey's Foundation. Joey's Foundation has been working with all kinds of therapists, educators, and design teams. One of our projects came from Joey's love of books. As a toddler, Joey would crawl to the bookcase, pull all the books from the bookcase down, and then, surrounded by about 30 books, pick the one that he wanted. Joey still loves to read, but now he cannot hold a book or turn the pages of the book by himself. Under the guidance of Mary Ann Shaw, a professor at St. Francis University, pre-service teachers at the university adapted books for children who have motor disabilities that make it difficult for them to independently read and interact with books. To make the books easier for hands to handle and to help with page turning, the students added page fluffers, or spacers between the pages. The students developed interactive activities to support reader engagement and identified icons that correspond to those on those speech-generating devices that many children use to communicate. They also found Braille words for children who are blind. These books will be distributed by the Foundation to special education teachers, to hospitals, and to libraries. Last week, Joey's Foundation supported a presentation by Ann Bailey Lipset at the Pennsylvania Council for Exceptional Children. Ann Bailey's work is challenging teachers and parents to shift their perspective about children who are unable to speak, to encourage replacing those automatic assumptions that we have about intelligence and disability with assumptions of competence and ability, to not look at a child with disabilities for what they cannot do, but to look at them for what they can do. Recently, we collaborated with a team of engineering and of people with engineering and medical backgrounds to develop a device to help children with inadequate head control. To help these children hold up their heads has social, physical, emotional, and educational impact, and enables them to see the blackboard, to look at someone eye to eye rather than at their feet, to see the world as the rest of us do. We are also supporting a project with bioengineering students at Johns Hopkins University. The team is under the guidance of Dr. Amy Bastian, the Chief Science Officer at Kennedy Krieger Institute. They have been challenged to create a device that engages young children with movement disorders in tasks that teach healthy movement patterns. There is so much that we want to do, and your financial and emotional support enables us. And so we thank you all for being here tonight, for expressing your support in so many ways. Joey is our hero and our inspiration.
So thanks to all of you for joining us this evening for what we know will be an extraordinary conversation. Tonight, we will hear from one of America's most beloved journalists, who will share her own experiences as a mom following her son Jeffrey's traumatic brain injury. We'll then hear from Kennedy Krieger's new president and chief executive officer, Dr. Brad Schlager, about his vision for the future of Kennedy Krieger and the advancement of pediatric brain disorder treatment and discovery. Dr. Schlager has said that when it comes to pediatric brain research, little movements can make a big difference. We have seen this firsthand with our grandson Joey. Tonight, with your help, we hope that our little movements lead to significant advancements in pediatric brain research at Kennedy Krieger. It's no coincidence that pinwheels sit at each of your tables tonight. Just a little breeze makes them move. And we hope that you'll consider investing in the work of Kennedy Krieger and Joey's Foundation, knowing that with every gift we make, every little movement, we get closer to cures for children like Ellie and Joey. So now please enjoy your meal and your conversation before we start the next portion of the program, when we'll hear from two of America's most important journalists who just happen to be lifelong friends, Andrea Mitchell and Judy Woodruff. Thank you.